I'm going to tell you the number one thing that I wish someone had told me at New Teacher Orientation. My name is Roxana Eldon. I'm the creator of the Maintain and Stay Sane program for teachers, and this is part 2 of the video version of my New Teacher Orientation speech. And here's what I wish someone had told me at New Teacher Orientation about the first day of school. Your first day of school as a new teacher should be as simple and structured and quiet as possible. The first day of school is not your chance to show kids you are cooler than their other teachers or more fun than their other teachers. In fact, on the first day of school, you want your students to think you are just as strict and serious as their more experienced teachers. And here's why. If you are a beginning teacher, the first day of school will be unlike any other day in your entire teaching career. Your first day lesson plan is basically a script for a play where you haven't met any of the other actors. The chances that these actors are all going to stay on script are very low. And so you don't want to be too dependent on giving them a complex part. Otherwise, the entire thing can be derailed by one of them just going, I don't get it, every time you try to give directions. I entered the profession as a 4th grade teacher, and I remember I had a moment right before I walked into my first 4th grade classroom when I realized the last time I had been in a class full of 9-year-olds, I was 9 years old. I didn't know how 9-year-olds acted. I didn't know how 9-year-olds acted in groups. I didn't know how long a 9-year-old would take to write a page about what he or she did over a summer vacation. Turns out not as long as I thought, which is something I'll talk about later in this speech. Which brings us back to structured, simple, and quiet. If your first day is as structured, simple, and quiet as possible, you give yourself a chance to get a sense of that room and of these kids and how they are going to react to the fun, cool, fabulous, creative lessons that you're hoping to teach for the rest of the year. But there's another reason to keep things structured and simple and quiet on the first day of school, which is that teachers get interrupted constantly on the first day of school. There will be announcements and schedule changes, and then you'll need to collect the emergency contact cards and alphabetize them so you can send them to the office. And then there'll be kids who arrive late because they just finished enrolling in the school, and now they're getting sent to your class in the middle of the day. And that's a problem because your classroom theme was caterpillars growing into butterflies, and you don't have a cardboard caterpillar with the new kid's name on it. So you need to find one of those and quickly write that down. Then some new furniture arrives, and then someone comes in to test the fire alarm, and meanwhile you still have the kid who's going, I don't get it. And then there's the kid who's done now and getting bored. So yeah, a lot of interruptions. And it turns out it's a lot easier to handle interruptions while kids are doing something structured and simple and quiet than it is to take a break in the middle of that activity where the kids help you make up the classroom rules. Speaking of which, if someone has recommended an activity where the kids help you make up the classroom rules, I officially unrecommend that activity, especially for the first day. On the first day when your students come in, you should already have a short list of rules you feel comfortable enforcing. You also want to have very clear procedures for how kids should ask to go to the bathroom or tell you their pencil broke, and a whole bunch of other things that I'm not going to list in the middle of a speech. But if you'd like, you can receive an email with the notes from this speech. And those notes will have links to recommended classroom rules and procedures, plus a whole bunch of other basic stuff that you can just leave in your inbox and use it as a reference in case you need it. If you'd like to sign up for that free Sanity Saving School Year Starter Kit, you can find the link to that in the description underneath this video, as well as in the pinned comments. In the next video in this series, I'm going to talk in more specific detail about how to run your first day of teaching. See you there.